Go ahead and open up your Google Drawings by going to New, scrolling down to More, and clicking on Google Drawings. We need to insert a photo, so we're going to go to Insert, Image, and you can either upload from your computer or from your Google Docs. This is my beautiful niece that I'm using, and I'm going to go ahead and crop it down a little bit just because I don't want such a big picture. Then we are going to go to Zoom to zoom in a bit. You're going to want to zoom in quite a bit for this. We need to go all the way to the line tools and then down to the curve tool. Curve is going to give us some nice rounded shapes. So basically what you want to do is you want to drag and click all around the curvy parts. Right now I'm just working on her hair. You will need to click right on the bulges or the curves, and it will stop once you get back to the beginning. Now it automatically changes to this color, and I don't like that. I want it to be a blonde color. It doesn't have a blonde color, so I need to customize it. And this is going to be a little bit tricky. You can see where the color is. It's right on that little circle. So I need to kind of move it around and try to see what it's going to look like. And that's okay if you don't get the right color right away, because you can always go back and fix it. So let's try that one. I do want to transparent the outline because I don't want it to have a large black outline. I'm not super excited about that color. It's a little too yellow. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter and a little bit darker, more of a brownish color. That's close enough. All right, so I'm going to go back to my drawing tool and go ahead and go back to the curve. And I'm going to do the other side of her hair. And I'm going to do this much quicker so you don't have to sit and watch me the whole time. The nice thing is it automatically changes to that color you used last time. So now I'm going down in her lower part for her ponytail. Now, here's a really cool trick. If I go to my select tool, which is the arrow, double click on the shape, I can fix anything that I feel like I have done wrong. These little purple guys show up. Those are the places that I clicked in order to make this shape. I can drag those purple dots around to make sure it's the shape that I actually want. So don't ever worry and think you made a mistake. You can always go back and fix things. So now I'm going to go ahead and do her face next. You'll notice it automatically does the hair color, which I don't want. So I need to change that to more of a peach color or more of a light tan. That's good enough. And I'm going to go ahead and do her ear next. Again, I don't like how it ended, so I'm going to double click, get my purple guys, and move it over a little bit. And then I'm going to do her neck. All right, so now I need to work on her face, and I can't see her eyes anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and customize, and this is the transparency. So if I bring that all the way down, it will transparent the color, and so I can see through it. The color's still there, but I can see through it now so I can get her features. And I'm going to start with her eyebrows first. And I want the eyebrows to be the same color as the hair. And luckily, with this program, it keeps the color for you, so I can click on the hair color. And I'll do the other eyebrow now. Now, the eyes are going to have a lot of layers to them. First, I'm going to do the whites of the eyes. So she's going to look a little bit like Storm from the X-Men for a little bit. And I don't like to have them be pure white because our eyes are not pure white. So I'm having them be a little bit gray, but you can change them to whatever color you want. Now, all of these little wrinkles, she is a young girl, but we have wrinkles. She has these beautiful smile lines. So I'm going to go ahead and outline those. These are important to make the person look like a human. But I don't want them to be the same color as the face. They need to be slightly darker as they are just merely shadows. So I am going on both sides of the eyes, underneath, and I'm going to go above too for her eyelid crease. All right, so now that her creases are all done, I'm going to go ahead and do the darker part of her eye, and this is going to create some layers. You have to kind of think from the back to the front. So this is the darker edges, and again, I want to make these look a little bit darker, darker than the creases, just because this creates the shadow around her eyes. But I actually want the white to be in front, so I clicked on the white, going down to order, bring to front, and click there. And the way I did that was I actually did 2-finger click on my cursor pad, and that's how you get that. So I go ahead and do this with the other one as well. Now I need to be able to see behind the eye because I need to get the iris and the pupil. So I am bringing the transparency down just like I did with the face. And for her pupil, I'm just going to use a circle shape because it is a circle, and I'm not going to make life harder for me. So go ahead and get rid of the outline with transparency and make it black. Now the iris technically is a circle, but it's covered up by the eyelids. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the curve tool, and I'm just clicking around, making sure I get the right shape that I want. And a little trick with making sure you have the right shape so you can change it later is the more clicks you have, the more of those little purple guys you're going to have in order to fix the shape. Now she has kind of some blue-green, beautiful blue-green eyes. So I'm going to kind of make them, that's a good color. Now I need to bring the pupil in front. So again, I'm going to go to order, bring to front, and slide the iris back over. And then when I bring the color back, I'm going to bring the transparency up again so I can see it, and back on the whites of the eye. Then I can see how it looks. And I'll notice right away it doesn't quite reach the top, so I need to double click and move my purple guys so that they reach towards the top. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other eye. Okay, I want to go ahead and see how her eyes look compared to the rest of her face. I need to go back to her face color, so I clicked on her face. I'm going to go back to custom and bring the transparency back up, and oh good, I can see her eyes. And when I do this, I can see if I need to fix anything. Right now they look fine. So I'm going to bring my transparency back down because that way I can start to work on her nose and her mouth. So I want to zoom in again. Zooming in really helps so you can get the right shapes you want. And I'm going to go ahead and outline those little creases around her mouth, around her nose. These are all important to make her look like she has a nose and a mouth. And again, these all need to be darker than the actual skin color. So you'll notice that some of them have a little bit of a darker tone to them compared to the other ones. I'm really just looking at what they look like compared to the skin. So now I'm going to go ahead and do her mouth. And her mouth, just like her eyes, are going to have a lot of layers. So I'm going to start with the top lip, and I'm not super worried about the shape of it because remember, I can always double click and get those little purple guys again and make sure that it looks good enough later. So I'm going to double click here, change my purple guys, move them around so it looks better. Now the color of the lip. Lip colors are always the same as the skin color, but with a little bit of red. That's all it is. So I just moved it down to the red, and I just wanted a slightly pinker version of it. So now I'm going to do the bottom lip. It's going to be the same color, but you'll notice our lips have a little bit of shine on them. You can see on hers right down here, there's a little bit of shine. So I want to go ahead and make that little shape as well. This is going to make them look a little bit more three-dimensional, even though our picture is very much two-dimensional, very much flattens it out. So this is just going to be slightly lighter, just bringing it up there. And then I can bring back the original lip color just to make sure it looks okay. Now you notice sometimes I get a little line that comes off because I'm still on the line tool. Just drag your cursor back up to the select tool, which is the arrow, and that will go away. All right, let's tackle the teeth. The teeth are the tough part because we all want teeth to be perfect, but our teeth are very strange shapes. They are not lip color, so I need to definitely change this. It's going to be more of a whitish yellow. I don't want her to look like she has really yellow teeth. I think she'd get upset with me if I did that. But I am going to make sure that they're really pale, pale yellow. And I need to go ahead and outline each one individually. And teeth are weird looking. They're not going to look perfect. A lot of people get really worried about what the teeth look like. What I'm noticing is I need to make it look like my teeth are different. So I'm going in and I'm actually clicking on the outline tool and changing that color. I like this color the best for it so that I can tell that there's separate teeth. I would not want to use a black outline because then it would really look strange. So I want it to be as natural as possible. I believe it's the same color as her hair color. Now, for these little ones, they do have more of a shadow, so I could go in and make them a little bit darker, but I'm going to keep them the way they are. Okay, now this part is kind of getting her gums, the inside of her mouth. I definitely want this to be darker. And here's the tricky part. I need to bring all of her teeth and her mouth to the front. So what I'm doing is holding down my shift key and clicking on everything so it captures all of them at the same time, bringing them to the front so I can slide this guy back up, and now it's behind everything. I do want to change the color though because I'm not super, there we go, that's much better. Okay, but I do need to change the lips a little bit. I need to make sure everything lines up. I need her top lip to definitely come down a little bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and look to see what it looks like by bringing the transparency up again for her face. Oh, that looks wonderful. So it's really important that you check these things to make sure that it looks good, and you can always go back and fix things. Now I notice right away her neck looks like it's attached to her face a little too much, so I'm going to go ahead and add some shadows here. All right, let's go ahead and do her ear next. Those little creases inside the ear are really important because they help it look like they have dimension. So this is similar to how I did around the eyes and the nose, just getting all those little dark spots. And then I can go ahead and fix the ear a little bit with my purple guys, change the transparency, and I can see it looks good. So her hair also has dimension. What I'm doing is I went ahead and brought down the transparency, and I'm just outlining random shapes here and there. You can't really do this wrong because our hair has lots of weird random shapes. I'm just finding the darkest spots and outlining them. And I even see this really bright spot right here. So I'm going to bring that up and make it lighter. I know I'm going really fast here, but it's just like all the other stuff. I'm just making this up as I go. There's not an actual right or wrong to do it. All right, so now I'm doing her clothing. I'm really not worried about her clothing because not as important as the rest of it. So I'm just making this pure black, but I made one side a little bit better. And now I'm just making her shirt red, adding a little shadow there. And there we go. Now she looks wonderful, beautiful, but I want to do a background. So I'm just adding this beautiful turquoise background because I want to make her eyes pop a little bit, but I could put anything back there. I could put a picture, I could put texture. And now the last thing is I'm just going in to make sure everything is lined up and looks perfect. And she is gorgeous. I love it.